Well, viewers, today I'm going to take you back to the past and then forward in time, I think about 10 years, because today on Have You Played, we're checking out my review of Crimson Room Decade. I have some vague memories of playing the original Crimson Room back in the mid-2000s. From what I've read online, it was the first escape room video game. It was created by Toshimitsu Takagi, and his work would go on to largely define the genre. Real-life escape rooms started to pop up in Japan around 2007. Since then, they've become so popular that even my little micro-city on the Canadian border has one at our local mall. Speaking of Canada, a place in Vancouver called Locked Canada has a real-life escape room that is a tribute to Crimson Room, but unfortunately I can't find any photos of it aside from this promo poster. Anyway, Crimson Room was a Flash game, and it was followed by Viridian Room, Blue Chamber, and White Chamber. Before I get too far in, you may have heard that Flash is no longer supported by browsers. There's a non-profit project called Flashpoint that has preserved around 80,000 Flash games and animations. And all of the games I just mentioned are available there for free in case you want to check them out. The original Crimson Room has a very unique vibe. The camera angles are fixed, and almost everything looks like it could have been drawn in MS Paint. In 2016, Takagi worked with a small group of people to recreate Crimson Room in the Unity engine. Rather than a straight-up pixel-hunting point-and-click puzzle like the original, this version of the game allows you to move freely around the room, with the keyboard handling movement and crouching, and the mouse allowing you to look around and interact with objects. There is definitely a shift in tone from the original game. While I don't remember there being any story in the Flash version, this game supposes that in the 1920s, Leon Trotsky would lock intellectuals in these crimson brainwashing rooms. Throughout the game, you can find these diary entries from your grandfather. He was one of the people locked in this very same Crimson Room that you now find yourself in. While there's clearly some sort of statement being made about communism and freedom of choice, the point is never made entirely clear, nor is the story ever really resolved. As you peel back the layers of mystery in the room, slowly deconstructing each puzzle only to find another puzzle underneath, the situation becomes more absurd and more otherworldly than I could have imagined. I have to say, I really appreciate all the weird, vague imagery and concepts that are presented and suggested here. It's a real art house game, and for me, the whole thing is elevated by its connection to the original game and that whole era of the internet. The net was a much different place at the time, and it was brimming with little oddities like Crimson Room. The title goes for $9.99 on Steam, and honestly, I can't justify paying full price for it. I must have gotten it in a Humble Bundle at some point, and it was a great way to spend a few hours on a rainy evening. The puzzles were genuinely challenging, but not so difficult that I needed to look up any guides. In fact, most of my frustration came from the controls. It's hard to articulate it, but there are points where the controls just feel janky and awkward, and completing some of the tasks became unnecessarily difficult. If you're able to get this game on sale, and you enjoyed the original, I would recommend it. It's a worthwhile and interesting experience. And if you haven't, go check out the original. A lot of Flash games probably aren't totally worth playing if you weren't someone who played a lot of them back in the day. They're often primitive in this way that I think could turn off the average gamer. But there are still some really great ones that I think any gamer would benefit from checking out, and Crimson Room is definitely one of them. As for the remake, unless you're a fan of the original game or a huge fan of this genre, you probably won't regret skipping this one. So after finishing this review, I went back to Flashpoint and decided, hey, why don't I play through the original Crimson Room just for shits and giggles. I neglected to realize that the game is impossible to beat without a walkthrough in 2021 because there's a safe combination that you need that you get by going to a URL that's on a piece of paper you find in the room, and that website is no longer active. So in case anyone does want to try Crimson Room, you're going to need the safe combination of 1994. Everything else is just fine. The game works great, except for that one flaw. Oh well, that's how it goes. So, there it is, my thoughts on Crimson Room Decade. I did go back and play the original Crimson Room right after making this video, or right around the time I made the video, or just somewhere in there. And it holds up. I do think it holds up. Crimson Room Decade, maybe easier for someone to come into if they hadn't played those old point-and-click games in the past. Both of them are janky in their own way, but what I really want to know is, have you played Crimson Room, or have you played Crimson Room Decade? I don't think it's one of the greatest games ever made. I don't even know how I came into owning it. I think it was in a Humble Bundle, but I can't be the only person who's played it, right? So let me know down below in the comments if you've played Crimson Room or the remake Decade, and please also let me know what you're playing lately. I'm always looking for new games to check out and review and experience, so leave a comment, and hey, if you want more Hidden Machine reviews and videos and skits and all the stuff we do, be sure to subscribe to Hidden Machine, the channel. Just hit the subscribe button, and hopefully if everything works out, you'll get notified or see it in your little feed, and we'll come up, and once or twice a week you'll go, oh, I should watch, then you'll put it on your watch later. And then in 3 months, you'll catch up. You'll go, wow, those guys are all right. Oh, anyway, and then maybe you'll unsubscribe, and I can't blame you if that's what happens. But maybe you'll subscribe and you'll love the videos, and you'll become one of our biggest fans. Who knows? Let's roll the dice together, okay? Come on. See you next time.